That was the definition of Ohm's law. But before we start with this, now I hope you are very well aware with the topics like current, potential difference. We have done this in the lower classes. So, in the last unit, current is what? Current is basically the flow of charge. Rate of flow of charge is called current. And potential difference, we did there, it is the amount of work done in bringing a unit positive charge from point A to B. So potential difference is basically the cause due to which the current flow, due to which the charge flows. So cause of current is potential difference. Current will only flow through a conductor when its two ends are maintained at some potential difference. We did about equipotential surface. No work is done in moving the charge on equipotential surface. So for potential difference is basically the cause of the flow of charge. It is the cause of the current. Now Ohm's law. Ohm's law is an important part that connects these two parameters. So Ohm's law states that the current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across the conductor. The potential difference across the conductor, provided, this is very important, provided the physical conditions do not change. So Ohm's law states that the current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across the conductor, provided the physical conditions remain same or they do not change. That is, we write it as the current I is proportional to potential difference. V is proportional to I. More is the potential difference, more is the current flowing through the circuit. And you know, whenever we remove the proportionality sign, what do we get? Removing the proportionality sign, we have to add some constant. So constant here is R, and we get V is equal to R into I, or we write it as, more commonly we write it as V is equal to IR. So this is form of Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. This is called Ohm's law. What does this proportionality mean? Proportionality mean that whenever the potential will change in equal amounts, the current will also change in equal amounts. That is, suppose firstly the potential is 2 volts, then it is 4, 6, 8. When the potential is 2, if the current is 3 ampere, when the potential is 4, current is 6 ampere, when the potential is 6, current will be 9, it is 8, current will be 12. So it is increasing by 2, it is increasing by 3 at every step. So this is called proportional. So V is proportional to I. V is equal to I into R. Graph, if we see the graph, so if we draw a graph between V and I, taking V along x-axis and I along y-axis, the graph for Ohm's law comes out to be a straight line. So a straight line shows the Ohm's law, V is proportional to I. As the V is increasing, I is increasing by same amount. So V is proportional to I. So this graph, this straight line will give us the value of R. Now what this R is the constant of proportionality. It is called the resistance of the conductor. R is called the resistance of the conductor, which you will do in detail in the next topic. So it gives us the resistance of the conductor. How much opposition does a conductor offers to the flow of current, that is called resistance. So this constant R is called resistance of the conductor. This is called Ohm's law. All the devices that obey Ohm's law, all the devices in which the current is proportional to potential, those devices, they are called ohmic devices. Devices that obey Ohm's law, they are called ohmic devices, while there are some devices that do not obey Ohm's law. So devices that obey Ohm's law are called ohmic devices, while those devices that do not obey Ohm's law, they are called non-ohmic devices. So in those non-ohmic devices are those devices in which the graph between V and I is not a straight line. For the materials in which V and I graph is straight line, they obey Ohm's law, they are called non-ohmic devices, and those which do not obey Ohm's law are called non-ohmic devices. We will be discussing about their examples. So we will be doing these non-ohmic devices. We will be studying them in the last unit of this class. For now, you have to just study that non-ohmic devices are those that do not obey Ohm's law. So this is Ohm's law. How do we deduce it? Deduction of Ohm's law. From where does it come? Is there any derivation of Ohm's law? We won't say it is a clear derivation, but still we can derive it from whatever we have studied till now, the deduction of Ohm's law. So last article you did about drift velocity, that let us suppose there is a conductor of length L whose two ends are maintained at a potential difference of V volt. One end is connected to the positive terminal of battery, another is connected to negative terminal of the battery. The electrons, they start moving from one end to another. They start moving in a streamline flow from towards the positive terminal, and we say that current is flowing. Okay, so let us say this is a conductor. Length of conductor is L, area is A. It is maintained, its two ends, they are maintained at a potential difference of V volts. Okay, now you have done this. We know the expression for drift velocity. In the last topic we did, drift velocity Vd is equal to E into tau upon m. Is it? You did this? E is the charge on the electron. Capital E is the electric field. Capital E is the electric field that has been applied, and that is equal to, electric field is equal to gradient of potential. So it is V upon L. Okay. Tau, you know, tau is the relaxation time for the conductor. So tau is the relaxation time, and m is mass of electron. So this relation we do this there in drift velocity. Vd is equal to E tau upon m. Electric field is gradient of potential. So potential across the two ends is V. L is the length of conductor. So electric field will be given as E is equal to V upon L. Okay. One more relation we did there, that is relation between current and drift velocity. I is equal to N into E into A into Vd, where A is the area of the conductor. So I hope these relations are clear to you. So there we substitute the value of Vd. We substitute equation number 1 and 2. Say this is 3. So we substitute 1 and 2 in equation number 3. So what do we get? I is equal to N E A into Vd. Vd is equation number 1, E tau upon m. Okay. And what is E? E is V upon L. So now we substitute equation number 2. What we get? N E into E is E square A tau Instead of E, what we'll get? V upon L divided by M. Is it? Ne square A tau upon M into L. Okay. So we can rewrite this as I is equal to Ne square A tau upon M into L multiplied by V. Is it? See, this is equation number 4. So again you can see it from here. I is equal to NEA VD. So substituting the values, we get I is equal to Ne square A tau upon ML into V. So, or we can write, we know N is number density, that is constant, E is charge on electron, A is area, tau is the relaxation time, that is always a constant for particular conductor. Area we have taken a particular area, so it is constant. M is mass on electron, L is the length of conductor. So all these factors, they are the whole of this factor is constant, that is I is proportional to V, or we may say V is proportional to I. So this is what? This is called Ohm's law. So this is how, it's a small article about deduction of Ohm's law. So Ohm's law is that V is proportional to I. The article comes from the concept of drift velocity. So using the relations of drift velocity, we get V is proportional to I. Number density, charge on electron, area, relaxation time, mass of electron and length of conductor. All these factors are constant. That is I is proportional to V or V is proportional to I. So this is deduction of Ohm's law. So Ohm's law, V is proportional to I. The conductors that obey Ohm's law, they are called ohmic, while there are others that do not obey Ohm's law. That means there are certain limitations of Ohm's law. It is not that every circuit obeys Ohm's law. So limitations of Ohm's law. What are the limitations of Ohm's law? We have studied about ohmic devices. So if ohmic devices exist, that means that all the devices, they do not obey Ohm's law. So what are the limitations of Ohm's law? That first limitation is non-ohmic devices. Non-ohmic devices means those devices in which V is not proportional to I. So those devices, when they do not obey Ohm's law, they are called non-ohmic devices. So these kind of devices, in these devices, the graph between V and I is not a straight line. The graph between V and I is not a straight line. Graph is not a straight line. So why it is not a straight line, and what are the kind of devices? So in detail you will be doing this in unit 9, that is semiconductors. So semiconducting devices, you might have heard about PN junction diode. So PN junction diode is a semiconducting device in which the graph between V and I is like this. Potential and current relationship is like this. It is no longer a straight line. So it is a non-ohmic devices. So PN junction diode does not obey Ohm's law. There is also another device that is called thyristor. So thyristor is a device in which the current decreases with increase in voltage. So more is the voltage, as we increase the voltage, current decreases. So that is also non-ohmic device. That is a limitation of Ohm's law. So this is limitation. Another limitation is what happens, Ohm's law, next we will be doing, that when large current flows through a conductor, the temperature of conductor increases. We did one important term I told you when we defined Ohm's law, provided the physical conditions do not change. But sometimes when current flows through a conductor for a long time, or when a large current flows through a conductor, or this continuous current for long time it flows, what happen? The conductor, it gets heated up. The temperature of the conductor rises. The temperature of conductor rises. And temperature is what? Temperature is a physical parameter. So physical parameter changes, we will be doing this, that whenever the temperature changes, due to change in temperature, the graph between voltage and current, the relationship between voltage and current, due to this the graph between voltage and current becomes non-linear. Graph between voltage and current becomes non-linear. That is, when the temperature increases, we'll be discussing in the next part of this unit, that with the change of temperature, current changes. So when same current flows through a large time, or when the large current flows through the conductor, the temperature of the conductor increases. Temperature of the conductor increases. Due to this, so what happens? It is a ohmic device. Device was ohmic device. So the graph between voltage and current was going to be a straight line. It was moving like this, but as the temperature as the current increases, due to change in temperature, the graph here becomes non-linear. It no longer moves along the straight line. Even with a small change in current, small change in voltage, large current flows through the circuit, or it may change in whatever manner it is. But this is the limitation of Ohm's law, that in some conductors, due to working, the graph is not a straight line, that those are non-ohmic devices, while in others, in ohmic devices also, when large current flows, due to change in temperature, the variation may become non-linear. So at high currents, the graph may not be a straight line. So this is all about Ohm's law. I hope the idea is clear to you. Thank you.